This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus Legends, where we're going to take a deep dive into the lore of the Star Wars universe.
Everyone, and welcome to the Holocron Histories podcast, where we talk about Star Wars Legends versus Canon lore. I am one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Tika.
And I'm your other host, Ben of Temeria.
Yeah, and Ben, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I was really weirded out when you did not say, and I'm Shelby or She-Cup. That was just my brain at this moment.
That's fair.
But you are not Shelby or She-Cup. You are Ben of Temeria.
Yes, I am. And we are going to be continuing our species minisodes. This episode might be a little bit shorter than most, because we are going to be going over the Mirialans, which are a well-known species in Star Wars, but you might not know their name, but you have seen them before. And quick note to let everybody, the audience, know, it is the second week of March, and this is around our 1 year that we've been on the air, because we started in March of last year, and it's like, oh my god, it's been a year. It's been an entire year.
Because Assassin's Creed and Holocron started around the same time.
Mm-hmm. So that means I'm going to have to make new cover art for year 2.
You are.
But yeah, so, I mean, let's get right into it. So, the Mirialans. So, what we have for Legends is not a whole lot on their history, because we don't know too much of their history as a race and species. So, following the Sith Empire's return and the invasion of the Galactic Republic, sparking the Great Galactic War, the Mirialans promoted their planet as a safe haven for refugees from the Outer Rim. This surge of victims of war led to a large number of Mirialans to enlist in the Republic military, and others to utilize their abilities in the Force with the Jedi. And then at some point before the invasion of Naboo, Mirial, the planet, fought in a war against the nearby planet. The notorious pirate Arwen Cole helped lead the Mirialans to victory. And then, trying to picture a Mirialan, that would be Luminara. Jedi Master Luminara is a Mirialan. So they're green-skinned, typically facial tattoos on their face, and then tattoos throughout their body and whatnot. So, as a society and culture, the Mirialan people were deeply religious and practiced a primitive understanding of the Force. They believe each individual's actions contributed to their destiny, building upon the past successes and failures to drive them towards to their fates. A Mirialan would place a unique, often geometrically repeated tattoo on their face and hand signify that they had completed a certain test or task, or achieved sufficient aptitude for a certain skill. The number of tattoos would thus often act as a good indicator of how mature and or skilled a Mirialan was. So, kind of like Zabraks and the Night Sisters, where they covered themselves with tattoos to show that they're, mature or hit a certain point in age or done something very similar on that time. And I feel like a lot of races in species in the galaxies do something similar. So, I mean, I know Togrutas do that. So we do see that with Ahsoka.
So wait, is Ahsoka's skin just orange? Like,
yes.
Is that all tattoos on her face?
Yes, I thought so.
Well, we'll cover Togrutas at some point, so we'll find out.
Yes. Heck, I never had a topic for next week, so that we might be going into Togrutas next week. So, because of the more markings brought about a form of status, Mirialan society was stratified and allowed a heavily marked civilians to access greater opportunities. Despite its importance, most Mirialans did not know the entirety of the tattoo lexicon due to its complexity. The interaction between placement and positioning of the shapes was incredibly subtle and changed the meaning greatly. So you could have like a triangle and then it'd be upside down. It could mean like, hey, you're good at this, and then have it the complete opposite direction. It's like, nope, you're good at something else.
This is a funny tangent. So, Ben, were you a Digimon fan?
Yes, I was actually.
Okay, so let's go into the Tamers series of Digimon.
Okay,
which is one of my favorites. Everyone knows that Digimon Adventures Season 2 is the peak of Digimon.
Yes,
everyone knows that.
Yes,
but Tamers is good. So the little Digimon or whatever that has the triangle symbol on its head. Not Terriamon. The one that
Calamon.
Calamon. I always feel like the Mulan symbols look like that.
Okay. Now that you say that, that's actually... Oh, crap. That is a good thing. That's a good bring up.
If you have not watched Digimon Tamers, it is on Hulu, and I highly recommend it.
Go the first 4 seasons, first 4 series of Digimon are on Hulu. Adventures 1, 2, Tamers, and Frontiers are on Hulu. I'm a Digimon fan. It's great. Ghost Game's really good. This is a side tangent. It's really good because it's really dark.
Yes. Tamers is very dark. Be prepared to cry.
I mean, it's dark. I never cried.
At the end?
And when they all... no, not really, no. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was young when I watched it. I don't know.
Yes.
But
I just remember when Pokemon added Mega Evolution, everyone was like, ooh.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, this is so dumb," and now everybody's like, "Can you bring it back? Because it was the best."
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, back with Mirialans. So within their belief system, there was a view and individual actions rippled through the Force, also affecting the destiny of the species as a whole. Because the Force was understood through the notion of the cosmic force on a basic level, the cultural significance of the energy was defined as fate. Those who were not sensitive to its call still had faith in fate and felt it guided their lives. Mirialans always had a presence within the ranks of the Jedi Order. Which is so interesting, because now that, obviously this is Legend stuff, so this is before... technically, Clone Wars is both Legends and canon. When they talk about Cosmic Force, I think of, maybe they worship the Father, the Daughter, and the Son?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I can totally see that now. Being both of the Cosmic Force and there's the Living Force. Go back to our episode 2.
For those of you who don't know, my background is I have a master's degree it's called a Master's of Divinity, which is a master's in religious kind of ideology. So the Cosmic Force is kind of let's do a D&D comparison. So in D&D, divinity itself is a force. Like a force with agency and a force with like it wants things to happen. Like in D&D, if a god dies, like especially a god that is crucial to the fabric of reality, the force of divinity will produce a god to replace that hole. So like you can't just like kill the god of life and then there be no god of life, because then you wouldn't have any life.
Mm-hmm.
And so force. So that's kind of what the cosmic force is that it's this overarching ideology of the theoretical force, the force that exists everywhere. The living force is more along the lines of like what you encounter within yourself and the part of the cosmic force that guides you as an individual. So for you Christians out there, it's very similar to the Holy Spirit. But and then that's kind of the difference between the cosmic and living force. So cosmic, think like heady, like, oh, the force. Most of the time when you talk about the force, people are talking about the cosmic force, whereas the living force is more what every people interact with.
Yep. So I would consider like living force would be similar to kind of like nature energy, yin and yang kind of a style. It's within ourselves where, yeah, like cosmic force is a whole like universal arching power. But
okay. Yeah.
With that, Dr. Iklar Loken, a member of the Sith Empire's Imperial Science Bureau, during the Great Galactic War, recalled a shared interest in the Mirialan cuisine with his colleague, Cypher 12, during the conversation with the Imperial agent known as Cypher 9, which Lorcan is a companion of yours in SWTOR when you play the Imperial agent storyline. He's meh to me. I don't know. But
not a fan.
He's all right. Like, I've only interacted with him so far as my Jedi Knight during the expansions of Fallen Empire and Stolen... I almost said Stolen Throne. It's like, that's Dragon Age. Fallen Empire and Knights of the... whatever the second
Eternal
one.
Throne.
Eternal Throne. Thank you. But, yeah, he's all right. I mean, he's science person. During the expansion, he's researching Rackles and the Rackle plague and all that. That's fun. Not really. It's a pain. But, so now we have their biology. So, Mirialans are a near-human race. Mirialans were nearly physiologically identical to humans. The greatest difference in their biology was the green skin, great agility, and extremely quick reflexes. The later traits later gave them the upper hand over humans in terms of reaction time, athletics, and martial arts. And then that is why most Mirialans you will find are either Jedi or in some sort of a duelist profession with a blaster, because having quick reaction times as a Mirialan is great if you're like a smuggler.
That's a fair point.
And then, so we have the known Mirialans in the galaxy and legends. So we have Hylo Viz, was the Mirialan smuggler during the days of the Old Republic who led the correlation of smugglers to break a Mandalorian blockade and deliver raw goods to Coruscant. And Hylo is also your smuggler correspondent when you are commander of the alliance between the Sith and the Republic. So, yep. And then we have Arwen Cole, who was an active as a Mirialan freedom fighter decades before the Clone Wars. Luminara Unduli and her Padawan learner Barriss O'Free were Mirialan Jedi who fought in the Clone Wars. And then Tela Kars Hers was a political prisoner who worked as a minor architect on the first Death Star. Which, that one surprised me. I was like, there was a Mirialan in the Empire? Like, what? The Empire hates aliens. Legends and canon.
They'll let the aliens work for them.
True. That's fair. I mean, as long as they bring a good, skill set, typically.
Right.
Still looked down upon, sadly.
Right, and she's like a prisoner.
Yeah,
so
true. She's a prisoner architect compared to a free agent in the Empire, like Thrawn was. But, yep, that's what we got in Legends.
Oh.
Ready?
Interesting species. Yeah, I am ready for the break, but I just think it's an interesting species.
Fun.
Because we've got like it's another species that like produces a lot of Jedi. We have several species that as species produce a lot of Force users. Zabraks, Dathomir witches, the Mirialans, the Miralukai, just a lot. Yoda's species, whatever name it is.
Which we still don't have a name after 40 some years.
Yeah.
Humans, like literally across a lot of like species across the board. All the near human species have a lot of force wielding population compared to there's some other. I mean, in Legends, and I'm so mad they don't have this in canon, we have force wielding Jawas. Yeah. I want to see a force wielding Jawa in today so bad, just because I want to see some Jawa say Utini with a lightsaber.
Right.
Like, that would be great. But anyway, let's take our break real quick.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name is Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
All right, well, welcome to the middle of the show where we talk about all the things that have to do with the podcast, but not Star Wars lore. This is where I thank our patrons. Thank you to all those who support us on Patreon. We greatly appreciate, and we greatly appreciate all those who come on the show once a month, which will happen in, I don't know, a lot of weeks. There's only 4 Tuesdays in March, I think. So maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks sounds about, yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And so if you want to sign up on Patreon for our $20 a month tier, you can come and join us on the show, and we greatly appreciate that. Also, you can come hang out with us live, because we live stream this show at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday, unless something comes up. But every Tuesday, we're here with a live stream, and you come hang out, drop us in chat, say hello. Bed and I try to do a good job of watching the chat and seeing if anyone says hello. But we'll get that there. So come hang out with us. Come talk about Star Wars. Come share us your favorite opinions, especially in the species. Come shout us out. Tell us your favorite individual or your favorite species or whatever. So we do that. And then lastly, you can leave us ratings and reviews on Spotify or Apple, and we'll read those out on a future episode of the show. If they are 5 stars and have some kind words, we will read them out on a future episode. And then you can come hang out with us on Discord at the Cups Podcasting or More Discord server, or the Robots Radio Discord server. can find us there, both at Teacup and Benetamaria, same names across the board. It's helpful that way.
Yes.
And then you can hang out with us. You can find other shows on the Robots Radio Network. You can find my other shows on the Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. Hang out with us, talk about Star Wars. We even have spoiler channels, so you can talk about the new content, because we got a lot of new content right now with Bad Batch.
Yep. Oh, crap. I still need to watch that.
Right.
Oh,
Bad Batch,
Mando.
the Mando season 3, and the new Jedi Battle Scars book. There's a lot of new content, and if you're itching to talk about it, come on the Discord and you can hop into spoilers channels and talk to your heart's delight. And if people get spoiled, it's a spoilers channel. So, sorry.
Yep. But yeah, fun stuff. Also, do want to reiterate, we do live stream these on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/benoftemeria. But yeah, that's really it.
I think that's all I got.
Cool. That's all I have. All right, let's get more into the canon of things. All right, now for the canon history. So, the Mirialan homeworld was a cold and dry planet of Myral. After the fall of the Jedi, many Mirialans followed the isolated lifestyle of the Outer Rim territories. Others, however, decided to fight against the darkness that stood in their way of spiritual enlightenment. That means they joined the Rebel Alliance to fight the Empire. Because if you go and play Battlefront 2, or even the first... Pretty sure even in the first Battlefront from 2015, you can play as a Mirialan in the Rebel Alliance, if I recall.
Oh.
Pretty sure. I could be completely wrong. But I'm pretty sure they are a playable race. And then, so that's it for that we have in history. They haven't really expanded on the Mirialan history in canon, not even with Clone Wars, because the most Mirialan something just beat. That was super weird. But the most interaction we get with Mirialans in canon is literally Luminara and what's her
Barriss.
Barriss, thank you. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a big fan of Barriss, more for the fact that she turned on everything and tried to frame Ahsoka, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, especially since there's a lot of like species that get thrown out in the prequel era, so Clone Wars and the prequel movies, that we don't really get a lot of history. Like, we have a lot of history about the Zabraks and the Dathomir witches. We have a lot of history about the Wookiees and the Twi'leks and all these standard, the Rhodians, all of that. We've got a lot of history, but then you've got like whatever the heck Kita Mundi is.
Right, yeah. I can't think of their species on the top of my head, but yeah, like we see them, but we don't know anything about them.
Right, but even Yoda's species, as a species, we have 3 members in the entirety of Star Wars. No, if you include Legends with KOTOR, so that's like we've got 4.
And there's one in SWTOR.
Oh yeah, so we've got 5. 1 in SWTOR, 1 in Master Bandar and KOTOR, Yoda, Yaddle, Grogu.
Yep, that's it. Their species is still like, I honestly, and I think this is the best thing. I think that what they've done with Star Wars, specifically with Yoda and his species, is the whole point of keeping a mystery. And at this point, I don't think even after another 40 years, I don't think we'll ever get a explanation about his species.
Well, I also just don't think it was important for George Lucas. Like, Yoda was shrouded in mystery, and George Lucas was just like, he's the green guy, and he is the Jedi Master with the wisdom, and he serves to push Luke where he needs to go. Like, that is
true.
Yoda's
That's
purpose.
fair. That's a
And
good
so
point.
his backstory isn't important to the lore of Star Wars when you look at it from just a movie perspective. But
Right.
nowadays with the rise of video games, and we have games like the Elder Scrolls, which gives us highly detailed multiple and conflicting accounts on the history of each race. And so people want to know because that's what we're used to now.
Yep. But anyway, so with their society and culture and canon, the Mirialans were known for their spirituality and strong connection with the world around them. They had a natural belief in and practice a primitive understanding of the Force. Because of this, members of the species on Myral were taught to respect and listen to the Force, which obviously the same as Legends. But the key thing is that they are taught to respect and listen to the Force, regardless if they're Force wielders or not. So, as long as, it's like, and I cannot remember his character from Rogue One.
Spirit Unway.
Yes. I'm the Force is with me. I am the Force is with me. It's literally that understanding kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not a Force wielder, but yet he lets the Force guide him to where he needs to be. Because if you watch Rogue One, he literally decimates everyone, and he's completely blind, and he's not even a Force wielder.
Well, yeah, and I think that this is an important thing that canon has kind of lost this and not leaned into it. But in the Legends material, we meet a lot of different Force using entities that are outside the Jedi and Sith and Rogue Force users, like the Barados Sages, the Night Sisters of Dathomir. There are other kinds of Force using places that might not call it the Force, might call it something different, but they use. There's one legend books where we learn about people who use the Force because they're connected to this weird insect microscopic organism that's not midichlorians that does some weird stuff. And there's just a lot of different, in Legends, there's a lot of different beliefs about the Force, and there's a lot of different groups that follow that. And I forget what Plo Koon's race is actually called. Keldors. The Keldors have the Barados Sages, and there are whole sects in the Keldors that practice and use the Force, and then they send a couple to the Jedi Order to be representatives or do that. That's why you only really see Plo Koon, because they have their own order of Force users.
Interesting. I actually did not know that, so that's new to me. So it was also a tradition amongst Mirialans who joined the Jedi Order to take fellow Mirialans as their padawans. So, for instance, that is why Luminara has Barriss as her padawan, because they're both Mirialans. So that's
and
just... I mean, I get it, but...
That's interesting to me, because I assume it's because of the ideology. And so maybe the Mirialans want their padawans to be mentored by one of their own, so they understand that. But there are other species who have strict cultural beliefs that do Wookiees. There's very few Wookiee Jedis.
Very few. Typically, I mean, Legends, there's a few, and we don't get any until...
There's the High Republic, the one that
we have the I forget. Oh shoot! Their name is on the top of my tongue. Oh shoot!
But they're a in the Light of the Jedi. They're a Padawan.
Yes. Does it start with a B?
I think so. So we've got them. There's Gunji. Yes, and then there's, in Legends, we've got Lobaka. And I'm not really sure anyone else.
That's really it, honestly. Which, great thing about the High Republic Wookiee, we see, I don't know if it's the same Wookiee, but with the show Star Wars Acolyte being currently filmed, which is going to set place in the High Republic, and towards the end of High Republic, dealing with the more of the dark side stuff, hence what the term Acolyte, we do see from set a Wookiee Jedi. Is it the same Wookiee? We don't know. Probably, because Wookiees, live for like 800, 900 years, and it's crazy. They live as long as like Yoda's species. It's insane.
Right. Well, like, Chewie...
Isn't he like 4
has already
or
lived
5?
He had already lived for several centuries when the Clone Wars happened.
Yeah. I think it was like 300
So
something, I thought, when the Clone Wars happened.
Yeah, so he probably was born towards the end of the High Republic era. The latter half.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
And then he's whatever. But, yeah, they live a long time, and we'll get to Wookiees, and I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's another species we have a lot of history on. Wookiees.
Yep, that is true. I'm seeing, just by talking about Mirialans today, I'm getting all the ideas for the next couple weeks.
But also do a character deep dive on a member of these species.
That is true, and we have yet to do a character deep dive.
We did Kenobi.
Oh, we did do Kenobi. That's right. Okay, we did one character deep dive in the 1 year.
Yes. So we'll get another one for year 2, and then you'll have to wait till year 3 for our next one. Sorry about it. I don't make the rules.
We'll get it to some point. But now we go on to their biology and their appearance. So, just like in Legends, Mirialans are a near-human species distinguished. God, I can't talk today. By their yellow, green, or pink color skin and geometric facial tattoos. Though typically Mirialans were green or pink colored skin, some had purple skin. Mirialans' hair colors include black, brown, and their eyes could be brown, blue, or purple. Mirialans possessed enhanced reflexes and were also incredibly flexible and agile. Traits of these aided them in activities such as lightsaber combat. As a near-human species, they were compatible of reproducing with humans and having human-Mirialan hybrid offspring, and their natural habitat was a desert or wastelands. That had to be a really big shock to Luminara, from going from a desert, like wasteland planet to a all-city planet on Coruscant.
Well, think about Anakin.
That's also a fair point. Hey, Anakin did the same thing. Or even Rey. As much as we don't talk much about the sequel trilogy, Rey goes from a Jakku, and the first time she sees Takodana, it's like all lush green and blue, and she's like, "Oh my god, I never knew like there was this much green in the galaxy." It's like,
right?
Yeah, yes, there is.
So I live in a very very green state. Mm-hmm. It's very we get a lot of rain. It's very humid. Everything stays green mostly all year round. And I never really noticed it until I moved away to a state that was not green. And then I came back and it was like, oh my gosh, this state is so green.
Yeah, I've lived in the same state my entire life. It's either green or it's white. That's basically it. But yeah, it's just like, it's a shock seeing things that you're normally not seeing. But although most members of the species got traditional facial tattoos, not all did. More traditional Mirialan families felt strongly about the custom. Typically, those tattoos were done on a Mirialan completed a special task or achievement and expressed the achievements or expertise unique to each Mirialan. Some appreciative of the species' culture consider the tattoos merely status symbols because of their mixed heritage. The half Mirialan Maiz Ranish considered either not getting the tattoos or only getting them on one half of her face. Eventually, Ranish chose a tattoo design with the meaning of friendship. Did I say that right? Ranish?
Yeah.
So now we have Mirialans in the galaxy during the canon. So during the High Republic era, Mirialan Scantech Marvin Getter worked in the housing system. He recognized the aptitudes in the galaxy were evolving as time went on, and he hoped it would give him the chance to date the Twi'lek Sela. However, he never got his chance as he atomized during the Great Hyperspace Disaster.
Yeah, so I think he's one of the early chapters in Light of the Jedi.
Yep.
And I think he's the one that's like, oh, I'm going to leave and go ask out this girl.
Yep. He's exactly that person. And, then, the hyperspace disaster is... And so if no one's read The Light of the Jedi, the hyperspace disaster during the High Republic era, which is all new stuff in the last couple years, mind you, this giant Starbird cruiser is literally hit with another ship that is going hyperspace. And basically, literally think of what happened in episode 8 when Holdo jumped into hyperspace and hit a Death Star and it exploded into a million pieces. Do that, but both ships are traveling in hyperspace. So they both hit, and then all of their pieces are falling out of hyperspace at random points in time to where it could be coming out of hyperspace immediately, or it could be months to a year in advance to where it comes out of hyperspace. It was devastating to where thousands of Jedi had to use the Force to slow down a ship that was about to hit a planet and basically going to destroy and wipe out the planet.
Right.
Yeah, it's...
And then we learned that that's the beginning of the Nil invasion.
Yep. That was the start of it.
Do they ever remind you of the Yuthen Bong?
Kinda. I mean, I feel like the writers for the High Republic, I have yet to read any of the Phase 2 books. I've read all of Phase 1. And from reading them I still need to read, there actually is a comic specifically about the Nihil. From what you gather, what they are supposed to look like, if you go back and watch the panel for last year's Star Wars Celebration, they did a panel specifically on the High Republic books and the High Republic as a whole, and they actually showed concept art of the head of the Nihil, and I cannot remember his name on the top of my head, and what he looks like. And to me, when I first saw his design, he's definitely looking like, oh, they definitely took inspiration from the Yuuzhan Vong. That is without a doubt. Now they use tech, they steal tech, they do all that. They don't use organic stuff, but just the way the head of the Nihil looks, Ro, his name's Ro, that's right. He looks definitely very organic-ish, Yuuzhan Vong-ish.
And I just think, for those who don't, the Yuuzhan Vong are basically a species that after the Thrawn trilogy and after, they finally get established as the New Republic Galactic Alliance, bam, out of nowhere, this species of organic insectoid things come out and take the galaxy by storm. It's very similar with the Nihil.
Yeah, it was yes, it's very similar to the Nihil. The main key difference between the two is the Sith aren't active at all during the High Republic era, compared to during the Yuuzhan Vong and Legends. The Sith Empire was still a thing, but the Yuuzhan Vong specifically actually had the Jedi, the Republic, and the Empire, because they were both entities at the time, combine forces more for the fact because the Zhujiang Van were force resistant. The force had no effect on them. So they were like, oh crap, we probably should team up. And that's also probably the best storyline in Legends. It was the Zhujiang Van stuff, in my opinion, with the comics and all, because we see sadly we do, that is where Chewbacca's death was in Legends, but he went out with a bang.
It's true.
But
the Yuuzhan Vong is very similar. Like, if you want, like, just to compare it to something that's probably more popular, it's very similar to the Reaper invasion.
Yes, to Mass Effect. Yeah, hit real hard. No one knows what to do, and they're trying things. Okay, we took down a Reaper with a Thresher Maul. Okay, we collapsed a planet on the Yuuzhan Vong. That's our options. Yeah, it's I would say it's very similar to the start of Mass Effect 3, where the Reapers come to Earth and no one expected them to hit Earth or even come at all, and then
Shepard did.
Boom. Well, yeah, Shepard did obviously, but boom, they come out of nowhere and just start wrecking everything in their path, and you have that throughout the entire game. It's basically that, but in Star Wars.
Right. But back to Mirialans.
So in the time of the Galactic Republic, the Mirialan Jedi Master Yor Arith was a member of the Jedi Council and trained the Padawan Gretz Drom, who also became a Jedi Council member. The Jedi Master Luminara Unduli and her Padawan Barriss Offrey were members of the Mirialan species. It was tradition among the Mirialan people to, if any of them were to join the Jedi Order, they would have compelled to take a fellow Mirialan as their own Padawans, as in the case of Unduli and Offrey. Despite this transition, the Jedi Master Sislin Mur chose the human Mace Windu as her Padawan. I forgot about that. Yeah, Mace Windu's master was a Mirialan. I forgot about that. And then another Mirialan who was once part of the Jedi Order was the Seventh Sister, one of Darth Vader's Inquisitors.
So, were all the Inquisitors former Jedi?
I believe most of them were. We only get we know the second sister, because that's Trilla. She was Jedi. The Seventh Sister
was Jedi. The Ninth Sister was Jedi.
The Ninth Sister was? Okay. See, and that's the only thing. And on the Grand Inquisitor was a Jedi because he was the
Reva.
Reva was, so that's
Reva was
5.
The fifth brother was a Jedi. I know that's a little spoilerly for the new book, but we learned that.
Oh, we learned that in the book?
Yeah, it's in his point of view chapter.
I have not gotten that far then.
You haven't gotten that far?
No, I haven't met the fifth brother yet.
There was it's the chapter right after Fret tells them what they have to go find, and then there's a chapter from his point of view with the Grand Inquisitor. It's before they even get to a point.
Maybe I did not listen to it fully.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was a Jedi. Oh, that's whatever. Okay, so that's literally, and then we have that unknown third Inquisitor we have at the end of Rebels season 2.
The eighth brother.
But he
and then the sixth brother. So I think we have 9 Inquisitors total, unless I don't know, does the Grand Inquisitor count as the first brother, or is
I don't
there a
think
first
so. I think
person?
there is actually a first person that's not the Grand Inquisitor. But who knows? There's still we don't even know how many Inquisitors there are.
maybe the first Inquisitor is Galen Merrick, and they're waiting to reveal all that.
See, that's what everybody hopes it's going to be. But that is going to be like, if they made it Galen Merrick, I highly doubt they would made him that's the only way they could really rationalize his canonization into things. But then, it's.
But also, don't do it. It's too broken. Galen Merrick in canon, based on his canon stuff in his game, the canon ending for his game is him wrecking Vader 1v1.
His canon stuff is the books. So the game is they made him more powerful in the game because, game mechanics.
Yeah.
Even in the book, he still wrecks Vader.
Right.
And it's he does quote unquote die. And then, Force Unleashed 2 happens to where he gets cloned and whatnot. But yeah, the reason.
But he dies to Palpatine, not Vader.
True. Yes, that is true. Which makes sense. But the reason why, because they were originally going to have, they actually asked Sam Witwer to come in and ask him, would you want to come back to play Starkiller? And because Dave Filoni almost brought him back as the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
And had a whole entire storyline specifically based on Starkiller and also, joining the Rebels and all that or whatnot. And then when they thought about it, it's oh, no, sorry, we can't do that because Starkiller is too broken. Because he just whoops seriously.
Seriously. And, because his inclusion makes Luke irrelevant.
Yes. Oh, completely. Completely irrelevant. Even in Legends, half of his stuff that he does is why do we have Luke as, the leader? Because in Legends, his house emblem is the Rebel Alliance's emblem.
Right.
It's so why is Luke a thing at that point?
Part of it is that he dies and then gets cloned, and we don't know what happens to his clone. True. And then there's the other thing where he has a dark clone with the alternate timeline, and
it's all over the place because game logic and game mechanics and all that fun stuff.
Right.
But so we do have another Mirialan as well. Sanera San once worked with the Warbird gang on the planet of Castellan, while eventually joined Team Colossus and unofficially the Resistance after opposing a mutiny staged by the pirate gang. The Mirialan Keo Venzies was a pilot for the New Republic's Vanguard Squadron.
Right. And that is the events of Star Wars Squadrons. So I think we see her in Squadrons. It's a pretty good story, and Hera makes an appearance, and
I do know that.
It's an interesting kind of it's not game breaking. It's not oh my god, this is so implications for the lore, but it's a fun little story.
And then now we have some behind the scenes. So Mirialans first appeared in the 2002 canon Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which was Luminara. In Star Wars Legends, continually the species first appeared in the 2001 novel Cloak of Deception by James Luceno, written to the access to the Attack of the Clones script. Cloak of Deception was the first appearance of mini concept developed for the film.
Interesting.
And then Mirialans are a playable species in the Star Wars MMO, Star Wars The Old Republic, for the Jedi Knight class, the Jedi Counselor class, the Smuggler class, and the Trooper class. Completing one of these storylines with a Mirialan character will unlock the race for an option for all other character classes. Alternatively, the race can be unlocked through purchase in the Cartel Market, which is the marketplace where you buy stuff with real currency and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we got on Mirialans.
Interesting. I find it interesting in the Old Republic, people only really comment on you being an alien species if you are a Sith.
Yes. Fun. Yeah. So that is true. You really only get commented if you're dealing in dialogue. So you do get the comment as a Republic player if you're an alien, if you're having dialogue with a Sith character or someone from the Sith Empire. No one on the Republic questions you being an alien because the Republic doesn't care. If you're an alien working in the Empire, so for instance, my Imperial agent character is a Chiss, so I have him as a Chiss species. I get called out all the time in dialogue. It's like, oh, you're lucky because you're working with the Empire and you're so high up in the chain. You're just lucky to be here. Alien scum. They call you alien scum and all that stuff. And half the time I have smart remarks, or other times you can shoot them. So.
No, well, because I played for my Sith Inquisitor, I played a Twi'lek, and I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah, well, and I played as a Zabrak in my Sith Inquisitor as well, to where I would just some of the remarks is what? The best thing about the Inquisitor storyline and some of the dialogue choices you have, you can just shock people so much and torture people just because they called you something wrong.
Right.
It's great.
But it's also interesting to me because the only alien species that doesn't get called out is the Sith pureblood.
Yes,
because they're
they're in the hierarchy of the Sith Empire next to humans.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the Revan novel for Old Republic, you deal with Lord Scourge, and actually talks about how specifically with the Empire and the Sith purebloods, their relations between one another.
Right, the Sith purebloods have a higher status than humans, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and eventually it does get taken over by humans, but even then, the Sith purebloods still have a strong voice and respect within the Empire compared to other species. I'm still just mad that we can't play as a Wookiee in the Old Republic. And honestly, it just comes down to dialogue, because Wookiees can only speak She-Wook, and they can't get a voice actor to do that.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's what we have in Mirialan. So, I don't have anything else.
That's all I got.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the Holocron Histories podcast.
And may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWHoloHistories and contact us at holocronhistories@gmail.com.